This is a pirate broadcast system news report. News for anonymous and active free cells. Open message engaging the war 2013, preparing for battle, cyber warfare in the United States. Explanation part the 28th of December 2012. This is the news. Cyber warfare refers to politically motivated hacking to conduct sabotage and espionage. It is a form of information warfare sometimes seen as analogous to conventional warfare, although this analogy is controversial for both its accuracy and its political motivation. U.S. government security expert Richard A. Clarke, in his book Cyber War, defines cyber warfare as actions by a nation-state to penetrate another nation's computers or networks for the purposes of causing damage or disruption. The Economist describes cyberspace as the fifth domain of warfare, and William J. Lynn, U.S. Deputy Secretary of Defense, states that as a doctrinal matter, the Pentagon has formally recognized cyberspace as a new domain in warfare, which has become just as critical to military operations as land, sea, air, and space. In 2009, President Barack Obama declared America's digital infrastructure to be a strategic national asset, and in May 2010 the Pentagon set up its new U.S. Cyber Command, U.S. Cybercom, headed by General Keith B. Alexander, Director of the National Security Agency, NSA, to defend American military networks and attack other countries' systems. The EU has set up ENISA, European Network and Information Security Agency, which is headed by Professor Udo Helmbrecht, and there are now further plans to significantly expand ENISA's capabilities. The United Kingdom has also set up a Cybersecurity and Operations Centre based in Government Communications Headquarters, GCHQ, the British equivalent of the NSA in the US. However, Cyber Command is only set up to protect the military, whereas the government and corporate infrastructures are primarily the responsibility respectively of the Department of Homeland Security and private companies. In February 2010, top American lawmakers warned that the threat of a crippling attack on telecommunications and computer networks was sharply on the rise. According to the Libman report, numerous key sectors of the U.S. economy along with that of other nations, are currently at risk, including cyber threats to public and private facilities, banking and finance, transportation, manufacturing, medical, education and government, all of which are now dependent on computers for daily operations. In 2009, President Obama stated that cyber intruders have probed our electrical grids. Espionage and national security breaches. Cyber espionage is the act or practice of obtaining secrets, sensitive, proprietary or classified information, from individuals, competitors, rivals, groups, governments and enemies, also for military, political, or economic advantage using illegal exploitation methods on internet, networks, software and/or computers. Classified information that is not handled securely can be intercepted and even modified, making espionage possible from the other side of the world. Specific attacks on the United States have been given code names like Titan Rain and Moonlight Maze. General Alexander notes that the recently established Cyber Command is currently trying to determine whether such activities as commercial espionage or theft of intellectual property are criminal activities or actual breaches of national security. Sabotage. Military activities that use computers and satellites for coordination are at risk of equipment disruption. Orders and communications can be intercepted or replaced. Power, water, fuel, communications, and transportation infrastructure all may be vulnerable to disruption. According to Clarke, the civilian realm is also at risk, noting that the security breaches have already gone beyond stolen credit card numbers, and that potential targets can also include the electric power grid, trains, or the stock market. In mid-July 2010, security experts discovered a malicious software program called Stuxnet that had infiltrated factory computers and had spread to plants around the world. It is considered the first attack on critical industrial infrastructure that sits at the foundation of modern economies, notes the New York Times. Electrical power grid. The federal government of the United States admits that the electric power transmission is susceptible to cyber warfare. The United States Department of Homeland Security works with industry to identify vulnerabilities and to help industry enhance the security of control system networks. The federal government is also working to ensure that security is built in as the next generation of smart grid networks are developed. In April 2009, reports surfaced that China and Russia had infiltrated the U.S. electrical grid and left behind software programs that could be used to disrupt the system. According to current and former national security officials, the North American Electric Reliability Corporation, NERC, has issued a public notice that warns that the electrical grid is not adequately protected from cyber attack. China denies intruding into the U.S. electrical grid. One countermeasure would be to disconnect the power grid from the internet and run the net with droop speed control only. Massive power outages caused by a cyber attack could disrupt the economy, distract from a simultaneous military attack, or create a national trauma. Howard Schmidt, cybersecurity coordinator of the U.S., commented on those possibilities. Potential targets in Internet sabotage include all aspects of the Internet, from the backbones of the web, to the Internet service providers, to the varying types of data communication mediums and network equipment. This will include web servers, enterprise information systems, client-server systems, communication links, network equipment, and the desktops and laptops in businesses and homes. Electrical grids and telecommunication systems are also deemed vulnerable, especially due to current trends in automation. It's possible that hackers have gotten into administrative computer systems of utility companies, but says those aren't linked to the equipment controlling the grid, at least not in developed countries. Has never heard that the grid itself has been hacked. In the U.S., General Keith B. Alexander, first head of the recently formed U.S. Cybercom, told the Senate Armed Services Committee that computer network warfare is evolving so rapidly that there is a mismatch between our technical capabilities to conduct operations and the governing laws and policies. Cyber Command is the newest global combatant, and its sole mission is cyberspace. Outside the traditional battlefields of land, sea, air and space, it will attempt to find and, when necessary, neutralize cyber attacks and to defend military computer networks. Alexander sketched out the broad battlefield envisioned for the Computer Warfare Command, listing the kind of targets that his new headquarters could be ordered to attack, including traditional battlefield prizes, command and control systems at military headquarters, air defense networks and weapons systems that require computers to operate. One cyber warfare scenario, Cyber Shockwave, which was wargamed on the cabinet level by former administration officials, raised issues ranging from the National Guard to the power grid to the limits of statutory authority. The distributed nature of Internet-based attacks means that it is difficult to determine motivation and attacking party, meaning that it is unclear when a specific act should be considered an act of war. Other cyber warfares caused from political motivations can be found worldwide. In 2008, Russia began a cyber attack to Georgian government website, which was carried out along with military operation in South Ossetia. In 2008, Chinese nationalist hackers attacked CNN as CNN announced on Chinese repression on Tibet. Cyber warfare can be seen as the biggest and the most destructive weapon of the moment. The worldwide operational active hackers group Anonymous is already infiltrated by U.S. Secret Service agents and is seen as a potential enemy. This was the news. Pirate Broadcast Systems, 24 hours, 7 days a week. bringing the news to you on the internet,